First time I met Frank, the thing that came to my mind is a gentle giant. He is a man of stature and very, very giving. South Dakota State is so important to him, not only the university, but athletics and wrestling. And so the first time I ever met Frank, that just came out of him and the love and support he has for this university and wrestling program.
I think it was a turkey up on his wall, and we were talking about that one of the first times I met him. And then he's got the nice lake in the back of his yard, so we were talking about just outdoor stuff, and really it wasn't about wrestling right away. So that's kind of why I like the connection with Frank, is he wasn't just wrestling. He had more of a personality than just wrestling.
And we had supper at his house. So he had Nick's Hamburger Shop deliver hamburgers, and they actually they brought in one round, and then next thing another round of hamburgers comes in. And he's always just asking, anybody want more hamburgers? I can call in another batch. And we're just sitting there eating as much as we can, and Frank was just, it was great to be around him, because he was full of energy and full of life, and just wanted to get to know us as athletes, and having that relationship with the donors. The donors obviously like that, but I don't think people talk about that aspect from an athlete's perspective. The fact that we have such a personal relationship with a guy who is supporting us so much, it gives it a lot more meaning and allows us to be so much more grateful and thankful for him, because we actually know him and we know what kind of person he is, and the way that he supports us, not only on the wrestling mat, but in other aspects of life. When we go to his house for supper, or we see him out in public, and he's just always a smiling face, ready to talk about how wrestling's going, how life's going, and it's just hard to find people like that.
So I actually came to campus, to get an education degree. I made up my mind when I was 13 years old I was going to be a teacher. Then I came up here, and during registration, which was in the gym at that time, Warren Williamson was he had to sign off on all my registration slips. So I was standing in the corner of the gym talking to him, and he said, Frank, you ought to take a good look at the wrestling program. And I had never ever even been exposed to it. I didn't know what it was. He said, well, just go over and talk to Ellis Jensen. And Ellis Jensen just made the team that week. And he told me at that point, he said, if it hadn't been for the wrestling program, I never would have been able to gain that strength and agility and so forth to play first team football. That's the way I got introduced to wrestling. When I came, we had a 24 by 24 foot mat. That little room was varsity, and they had freshmen in a classroom next door. Well, by the time I got back here, that year I coached 5 years later, they had knocked the wall out, and so we had kind of an L-shaped room that was pretty adequate. But for the people we recruited from at that point, we had the poorest facilities. And then I took a look here. This is 50 years old, or right close to 50 years old. And right now, we're competing against Minnesota, Iowa, Iowa State, Northern Iowa. Then we compete against North Dakota State. They've got nicer facilities. Wyoming's got a nice facility, and Air Force Academy. So that's our competition today. That wasn't our competition 50 years ago. So this brought us up, into the middle of the bunch. But right now we're back at the bottom. So that's why I'm here, and that's why I was interested in getting something done.
So there was a turning point in this project, and we were roughly about 30 days before we had to go to the Board of Regents. And first person I called is Frank, and we sat down, and I said, Frank, listen, we're up against the clock. And he said, listen, this is what these kids need, and I'm going to do what I have to do to make this a reality. And I wanted to hug him and thank him like no other, and he came to the table again. And when that happened, it really put us over the top. I was in a meeting. I was in a meeting on at the foundation, and when the call came through, I got a text message from President Dunn saying that our facility got passed, and I actually had to get up out of the meeting and walk out because the sense of relief that we accomplished, something, and it would not have been possible if it wasn't for Frank.
We were all prepared to graduate with this wrestling room that we have here in Frost, and the new facility would just be down the road. But now I'm going to get to experience it for 2, maybe 3 years of my college career, which is amazing.
Frank has so much vested interest into what we are doing, and it's not just a financial component. You truly got to know Frank and the heart that he has. He is passionate about all things Jackrabbit athletics, in particular Jackrabbit wrestling. He is the key component to this project. His generosity has been nothing short of amazing. His willingness to support his vision. This is something. This project is going to forever change the landscape of wrestling here at South Dakota State University. And it would not have been possible if it wasn't for Frank and his family, to be honest with you. His vision, his leadership going through this has been phenomenal. It really has. And I am forever grateful for what he's been able to do, and his support through this entire project and this university and our wrestling program.
That's amazing. These young men kind of bring tears to my eyes. First, I was blessed with an opportunity to help out. The wrestling world is just one big family, and that's the way it was from my very beginning until you can hear it there. So that's important that we cling together like a family.
This facility will make a major impact in all things Jackrabbit wrestling. This will provide them a space to call home, and that's what the vision that me and Frank, when we sat down and talked, that's what it was. Your one-stop shop. That's what this is about, and creating a culture for these kids that they never want to leave. That's how you're going to be able to grow. That's how you're going to be able to change some things and bring out the best for these student athletes when they have everything they need right there at their fingertips. You want to be a perennial powerhouse? Well, this is what the perennial powerhouse programs have. And our guys, they've been training in our current wrestling room for God knows how long. And it's a much needed update for them. So from a recruiting standpoint, it's going to change the game, I believe. Bringing a family here and knowing that, hey, listen, I am giving my baby boy off to South Dakota State, and these are the facilities that we are working with. Oh, how could you not feel good as a parent to know that their kids, not only from a coaching standpoint and administrative standpoint, that they're going to be taken care of, but look at the Taj Mahal that they get to train, study, and live in. I mean, that's what this is going to do.
It was kind of an unreal feeling knowing that we're finally getting this new facility, and to know that the guy that supported us in so many different ways up until this point was the guy who put us there was very rewarding, and just gives it more meaning. And I just can't explain how grateful and thankful I am that Frank did that for us, because it's something that it's going to be around for years and years to come, and we just are lucky enough to be the first ones to experience it.
This will be the best facility in the Big 12 Conference. This will be a top 5 facility in the country. And for South Dakota State to lay claim to that, and the support of Frank and his family, it's forever changing. You know, I mean, it'll forever change this program.
You know, we talk about the importance of stepping up and improving the program. And at South Dakota State, wrestling could be the best. We could have national NCAA champions every year. And there's no reason why South Dakota State can't win a national championship. That's my goal. Make sure that could happen. And so it's an opportunity to I hope to see it in the future.
If Frank was sitting here today in front of me, I don't know if there could be words spoken of how thankful I am. He was the man that started it all, and he'll be the man that finishes it all. You know, really, it's come full circle for him. So I will be forever indebted to Frank and his generosity. This would not be a possibility if it wasn't for him.